What up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today, came into the shop early, got a fake skin project going on, and we're gonna do some tattooing on the fake skin today. I wanna show you guys a setup. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, got A&D. This is gonna be for the during and for the wiping. So as I'm tattooing, I'll put a thin layer of this, and then when I need to get the ink off, instead of using the green soap, I use the A&D. It actually gets it off. Nice little trip that I picked up from another YouTuber. All right, for cartridges. The reason these are already open is because sometimes when I get new cartridges, I'll take one out and inspect it, and once I open it up, obviously I'm not gonna use it on real skin, so I just save them for the fake skin. This is a Revol 11 bug pen mag, cheaper brand. This is a Cheyenne 17 bug pen textured curve mag. Amazing for color, but we're gonna use it for some of our darker black areas and things like that. Over here off to the side, I keep these to the side because if I don't use them, then I'll put them back. That way it's not cross contamination, even though I'm only doing fake skin. But over here I have a 1 round liner. I just have this out just in case for maybe some texture or something. I don't know, I never use them, so I might try it out. It's a 1 round liner, single needle, bug pen single needle at that. Then I have a Bishop 1207 round shader medium taper. It's going to be for some of my lines on my lettering and a lot of textures. Then I have a 3 round liner bug pen, also for some shading and texture. And I have a Quadron bug pen 7 round liner long taper, textures and shadings, and probably in the lettering too. So those are my cartridges that I set up for some realism and some lettering. You've seen my ink system. All right guys, so that's it. That's the setup. Got the reference, got the fake skin. We're gonna wrap up the machine, running the Cheyenne Solterra with a critical power supply, probably around 6 or 7 volts. Does not take a lot for fake skin. If I was doing real skin, I might do 7 to 8 volts, but the lower voltage for the realism works great for me. Got the inks, got everything all set up. All right guys, we're about to hop into it and get the tattooing. All right, starting out the tattoo guys. Got the Quadron 7 round liner. I started to use the Bishop 7 round shader and it wasn't getting clean enough lines, so I switched over to the bug pen 7 round liner, and we're gonna outline the tattoo. So when you're outlining a tattoo, you wanna get your lines done in what they call 1 pass lines. This is key to clean, crispy lines. If you're steady stopping and then picking up again, you're gonna see a mark every time you stop and pick back up right where the line meets. So if you just get a line in 1 clean pass, it's gonna look a lot cleaner. So what I do is I figure out sometimes I'll do what's called a dry run, especially if I'm on fake skin. I'll have no ink in the needle and I'll try a pass and just see how it feels, get used to it, and then load up the needle and go. Bam, 1 line, pass, and it's nice and solid and saturated, and you got clean lines. So I'm outlining all of the letters, and I'm not really filling it in. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna outline all the letters, and then I'm gonna shade it from the top down and from the bottom up and leave a gap that we're later gonna put some color in. So after I line it, make sure everything's nice and crispy and lined real well, I'll fill in the solid blacks, and I'll go on every letter and just kind of flick up and keep it nice and even. You just want to shade up a little bit and make sure it's even across every letter. And then you want to shade down a little bit off the top and do the same thing. Make sure it's even across. So when it comes to the 1 pass lines, obviously not every line you're going to be able to do in 1 pass, because the way that you have to tattoo straight lines is by moving not your actual hand or your wrist, but your whole arm, so that you keep it steady and consistent. It makes it really, really hard to do longer lines because you're kind of, planted doing lines. So sometimes you're gonna have to stop and pick up, and what's best to do in that scenario is to kind of flick your line out, and then when you come back, dip in some ink and come back, you kind of start where you feathered out, ride it a little bit, very, very lightly, and then start pushing down as you're coming into the line, and just pick it back up and continue. and then finish out your line. I find that to be best when you have really, really, really long lines to if you have to stop. So right here, I did some really, really long lines and came out real well, but I noticed on the lines, some of the lines where I stopped, they weren't the most crispiest. So always try to do one pass lines if you can. All right, moving forward, after I got all the line work done, like I said, I shaded up the letters a little bit, real basic stuff. I took my 7-round shader and dipped it into my half and half black and water just to lighten it up a little bit. On fake skin, it's hard to tell the different tones because it's not going to heal. You know, real skin heals and you'll see gray washes lighten up over time. On the fake skin, what you see is what you get. So I went into a medium tone, but it still came out pretty dark. I did that for shading purposes to make it easier to flick up. So I just flicked up, made it even across, and then I started packing color. So what I used to pack the color was the 7-round shader. I washed it out real good, made sure there was no ink in there. And then I used the dynamic sky blue and started packing the color inside the rest of the letters. So how I do that to get a nice even blend is I'll start right in the middle where there's no ink, no black, and I'll start small circles, pressing really hard. I mean, I wouldn't say really hard, but pressing nice and soft, applying a nice amount of pressure. And as I move down, I'll start moving those circles faster and blending it into the black. That way it's not saturating it so much as we go into the black. So making nice slow circles in the middle where you want a lot of the blue, and as you come down to that black, you start moving faster circles and kind of flick out, and just keep doing that until you feel like it's blended nicely. So after I flicked out all the letters and made them nice and blended with the blue, you just go back and make sure everything's nice and solid. Like I had noticed, I forgot to shade the Y with the black. So all I did was, after I was done with all the blue, I went back, cleaned the needle, and shaded it a little bit. It's always good to practice on fake skin. Now, for those of you who are beginners, maybe even apprentices, practicing on the fake skin, I wanted to talk about this pound of flesh. So this was my first time tattooing a pound of flesh, and I tattoo fake skins a lot. Now, the reason for that is because it's obviously a very expensive fake skin. It costs a lot of money. So buying fake skins on Amazon, you can get a pack of 10 for $10 or a pack of 10 for $30 if you want the more expensive stuff. But they're all really cheap. And I found it just to be really, really hard to tattoo fake skin. So I picked up this pound of flesh, and this big square sheet of it cost $45. And this is my first time tattooing it, like I said. And I do think it is a very, very much better choice, especially if you're an apprentice tattooing fake skin, trying to make your way into tattooing real skin. It's going to be hard because your tattoos that you're doing on this fake skin is what's going to get you to the real thing, which is much easier to tattoo real skin than it is fake skin. It just is. So if you are struggling to get your tattoos right, it might not be you so much, it might be the fake skin you're tattooing. So I highly advise you to spend the extra few dollars to get the pound of flesh, because it'll make that easier on you, it'll make your work better, and it might get you to where you need to go faster. Even though it costs a little bit more money, it is worth it. So this is my first time tattooing a pound of flesh. It went very, very well. It is definitely a 10 out of 10 out of all fake skins I have ever tried. I'll never buy anything else again. It's just, it absorbed the ink a lot nicer. I'm also going to be releasing a portrait tutorial when I do the portrait above these letters. Coming soon. I'm going to edit that video and get it all edited out, and then we're going to release that too. I just wanted to make this one solely on lettering and on the fake skin itself and what I use for the tattoo. That way when I do the whole thing, I can focus more on the aspects of portraits, because when it comes to portraits, they're very difficult. There's a lot that goes into it, and I'm going to need everything I got of information for that video. So starting out, you're practicing, you're doing fake skins, get the pound of flesh. It's way worth it. Nice fake skins will make your job a lot easier to get better results. Another thing I would like to talk about is voltage when tattooing the fake skin. I use the lower voltages, 6 to 7 volts, sometimes even lower if I'm shading, like 5. And the reason is you can always go up if you feel like it's not putting ink into the skin. But if you go too fast and you put a little bit too much ink, there's really no going back. You have no eraser. So start out with low voltages and work it in, build up layers. That's how you get texture into your tattoos, by building up layers, adding colors on top of colors and stuff like that. So just take your time and don't give up. You never want to give up. Finish every piece of artwork you do and you'll see yourself gaining results. Don't ever give up and restart, because the same thing is going to keep happening over and over. Finish everything. All right, guys, all done with the color and the lines. So I put a bunch of A&D on here and I rub it in all over the place. And then I just take a dry paper towel and rub it off. And this is the best thing you could possibly do to get ink off of fake skin. I've tried everything. I've tried bleach, I've tried green soap. Nothing works, but if you just throw some A&D up on there, rub it in real good and wipe it off with a dry paper towel, it comes right off. So the words are finished. Everything's nice and done. Later there will be shading around the words once I finish the whole piece. Like I said, I will make a whole video on that again. But for now, this video was on the letter, so I'm going to let you take a look at that after I get all this ink wiped off. And I hope you took something from this video. If you did, please give it a like and a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out. I'm trying to build up the channel. And yeah, so pick this fake skin up. Another nice thing about this fake skin, it's got a silicone bottom. It sticks, so it's not moving around all the time. And there you have it. That's how the letters turned out. Nice black outline with some blue faded in there just to give it some pop. And we're going to be moving on to this portrait, guys. Nice, pretty letters. So if you like the video, please like and subscribe. Peace, guys.